Good morning. This is Mark Shepard, Cowabunga.com. And I don't know even what I want to talk about this morning. There's a lot going on. There's kind of a balance sheet, right? As we go through our days, things that we think are good, things that we think are bad, right? And how we react to them often determines how our day goes. So this week has been interesting in that a lot of positive stuff happened. Got notification that some of my songs, or at least one of my songs, has made it to the finals of the Posse Awards. So I've been invited to go down to the Posse Awards in January. So that's really great news. And I also did a crush anxiety seminar last night for a continuing ed organization in Guilderland, New York. And I had 20 people in the room, and it was really well received, and I really felt like I was helping some people who had anxiety to really blast through it. Those are all on the positive side. At the same time, strangely enough, I had two of my weight loss clients who I thought I was really doing well with. I mean, I was giving them my best stuff. Two of them just up and quit. They just hit some kind of internal block that would not allow them to actually apply the tools. So that was kind of an interesting contrast. And then at the beginning of the week, I had a new NLP student who signed up and was like, yes, I'm ready to go. Here's my money. I'll be there on Wednesday. I mean, pow, pow, pow. So to have the contrast between a group of people that is taking the tools in my class last night, taking the tools and using them and seeing as a group that yes, these work, right? And then having a couple of people who I've taught the tools to, but they're not using them, or for some reason something has been triggered. And I see this all the time with my weight loss clients, which is why I make them pay in advance. They go a certain distance and then they stop, they quit, and they're quitting on themselves, and it pisses me off because I believe in them, and I know from my own experience. I mean, when I started getting back into fitness after a tremendously stressful couple of years, and I started packing on some pounds, I signed up with a personal trainer, and I worked with him for 6 months, and I did not lose a single pound. However, because of my training, I forced myself to focus on what was changing, and I could feel myself getting stronger. That was it. I had that one little tiny thing. And ultimately, we are each responsible for the food we put in our mouth and the thoughts we think in our head. And that's really the Cowabunga.com concept, is that, and I say this till I'm blue in the face to my clients, ultimately, as a hypnotherapist, I only have so much power. I can't hypnotize you to do something you don't want to do. And if on a deep level, you don't believe you're worth taking care of, if you don't believe you're worth, putting good food in your mouth instead of crap, that's a challenge, because you're carrying between your ears the most powerful hypnotist in the world. I cannot compete with the stuff you constantly tell yourself throughout the day. And if you're telling yourself, can't do it, if you're telling yourself, oh, it's easy for him, or if you're whatever you're telling yourself, you need to stop. You need to stop. Take some time and really look at what you're thinking. What are you telling yourself? Replace the crappy self-talk with, why does it work out better than I can possibly imagine? I mean, I just literally wrote it this morning at breakfast. I use the tools. The reason my life is the way it is because I am using the tools. And anything that shows up that seems like it's negative, I make it positive. I freaking force it. I force myself to look at it in some positive way. Even if I can only say, I don't know how this is positive, but I know it is. If I could get the camera high enough, and if I could get a far enough view of the forest instead of looking at this tree, I would understand that this is perfect. And looking back at every disaster in my life, looking back at every challenge, looking back at every heartbreak, looking back at all the things that seemed like failure, they were not failure. But I can't say that to you. You know what I mean? If you've just hit a really hard time, I can't say to you, well, that's a really good thing. I can't, but you can. If you have the power to think a thought, you can choose to think a thought that gives you power, right? If you have the power to think a thought, you can choose to think a thought that gives you power. That is ultimately, that's it. That's the power we have. You do not have power over the government, right? You do not have power over other people. You only have power over this little square foot of action between your ears. And my challenge to you today, whoever's watching this, my challenge to you today is to actually apply the tools. You know what you need to do. If you know EFT, tap on whatever it is that is bothering you. You know, if you know NLP, shrink the negative down, get it out of your frame, pull up what you want. There's so many tools, but they're just tools. They're not magic bullets. You have to do it. And that's the difference between victims and people who are at cause. And it's the hardest concept to get across, particularly with, people that are significantly overweight, because it seems to me that there's a trance state happening. Paul McKenna says that people who have challenges with food, they think about food all the time, except when they actually sit down and eat. And when they sit down and eat, they go into a trance, and it's like they look down at their plate or the bag of Cheetos and it's empty, and they go, who ate my stuff, right? That is a trance. Someone is being hypnotized by someone. But there is no hypnosis. I mean, there's no such thing as hypnosis. There's only self-hypnosis. When I do hypnosis with a client, I essentially lead them into doing their own trance work. And that's the magic thing. And the problem is people have seen all these movies about how someone who is hypnotized is in the power of this other person, and that's so much baloney that I cannot tell you. However, if you believe that I have the power to make you change, and I say change, and you change, well, but the thing is, you did the change. You believed that you could change because I told you you could change. So it's still self-hypnosis. Do you understand? So today's tip, the cowabunga.com tip, is there's nothing good or bad except what you decide. So, for example, I just got an email from a friend who said my Together We Could Change the World song was on this YouTube video, and it was sung by this massive high school choral group. And so I clicked on there, and yeah, sure enough, this amazing choral group is singing my song. And I got chills because it was so amazing. It was great. But the thing is that good? Is that bad? It doesn't really even matter in the scheme of things, right? The bottom line is I used it as more evidence. I applied it as evidence that the work I'm doing is resulting in outward physical manifestation of my dream. And my dream is to share my music as well as these ideas with as many people as possible in a way that is positive and empowering for them and enables me to actually make a living. That's it. That's my ultimate goal. So how you do it is up to you, but ultimately you have to realize that the person creating your reality is you. If you don't like your reality, if you don't like the way things are, it's not about blame, it's about power. You have the power to change it. Start with your thoughts. That's where the action is. Change your thoughts. Write down on a piece of paper 10 times every day, why does it work out better than I can possibly imagine? Put it in a why or how question. Do this. Try it. Try it for a month. And then get back to me. Let me know. How does it work? Right? one of the clients that basically opted out had committed to working with me for a year, and she's not even in, maybe 6 months in. And, you know, comes from a tremendously difficult background. So this is not about blame at all. This is about, are you willing? Are you willing to commit to yourself? Are you willing to commit to your greater good? Are you willing to commit to your healing? Because there's going to be times when it doesn't feel or seem easy. And that's perfect. Because if it was all easy, we'd all be doing it. And there would be no problems. And what would be the point of growing and learning, right? So that's my message for today. I don't know what the specific message is other than, you know, no one's going to do it for you, right? If you hire me as your personal coach, I still can't do it for you, right? I can give you the tools. I can encourage you. I can believe in you. I can believe in you. And maybe that's the kind of the thing that pushes you in the direction you want to go. But ultimately, personal coaching is about personal responsibility. You know, it's about having a coach. I mean, the coach cannot shoot the ball for the basketball player, but the coach can help the basketball player keep his head in the game. The coach can teach the basketball player to keep his elbows in when he shoots. You know, that's why I use a coaching model, because I am not in any position to change anyone except me, right? And you are in a position to change you. That's great news, because you have power with your thoughts to think different thoughts than what you've been thinking. And when you stray back into the old pattern, you just gently bring yourself back and you get back to it. When you fall down, you get up and you dust yourself off and you get back at it. That is the only path. Really, it's the only way in is through. And I wish it was easier. I wish I could make it easy for you, but I can't. And that would rob you of your ability to grow, of your ability to take charge of your change. And when you look back and see that your life is becoming magical, there will be no one to thank except you. And you can look in the mirror and say, hey, thank you. I believe in you. Let's do even better. Let's do even more. Let's go for it. All right. So today, have a Cowabunga day. Cowabunga.com. This is Mark Shepard, your personal mastery mentor. I'm your mentor. I'm not your fixer. All right. Just keep that in mind. I'll say it over and over again, because when I work with clients, it comes up over and over again. We human beings want the easy way out. We want the magic pill. We want the magic little mantra, the magic little guru assigned steps to take so that we can get there, right? And it's helpful to model someone else so you can do it faster, better, easier. However, you still have to do it. And that is the message today. If it is to be, it is up to me. If it is to be, it is up to you, for you. All right? I'll be quiet. Have a great day. Mark Shepard, over now.